Hello viewers, welcome to This Week in History. As you all know, we bring to you things that have happened in the past in this week to you. So what we have here today is who invented the phone, who brought about modern medicine when human beings did started using clothes, or when was the first voting held. Whatever is your interest of knowledge, I say stick around as we bring to you This Week in History. My name is Adeniyi Adiola. So today, U.S. troops liberate Nazi camp on April 10, 1945. The Nazi concentration camp at Buchenwald was liberated by U.S. troops, located near Weimar in Germany. Buchenwald was established in July 1937 to hold criminals and was one of the first major concentration camps. It later included Jews and homosexuals and was used as a slave labor center for nearby German companies. Of a total 238,980 Buchenwald inmates, and 56,545 perished. Following its liberation, Supreme Allied Commander General White D. Eisenhower and other top U.S. commanders visited the sub-camp at Ohrdruf, U.S. U.S. troops also forced German civilians from nearby towns into the camp to view the camp. On April 10, 1981, politicians in North Ireland end 30 years old violence. Politicians in the Northern Ireland reached an agreement aimed at ending 30 years of violence, which had claimed over 3,400 lives. Under the agreement, Protestants and Catholics in the Northerns, Ireland will govern together in a new 108-member Belfast Assembly, thus ending 26 years of direct rule from London. I hope our leaders will learn from this. April 11, 1968, Civil Rights Act was signed to law in America. A week after the assassination of Martin Luther King, the Civil Rights Act of 1968 was signed into law by President Lyndon B. Johnson. The law prohibited discrimination in housing, protected civil rights workers, and expanded the rights of Native Americans. Martin Luther King lives forever. So the next one I have here is April 11, 1970, ill-fated Apollo 13 was launched. Apollo 13 was launched from Cape Kennedy at 2:13 p.m. 56 hours into the flight, an oxygen tank exploded in the service module. Astronaut John L. Swigert saw a warning light that accompanied the bank and said, "Houston, we've had a problem here." Swigert, James A. Lovell, and Fred W. Hayes then transferred into the lunar module, using it as a lifeboat, and began a perilous return trip to Earth, splashing down safely on April 17th. April 11, 1983, Harold Washington became the first African-American mayor of Chicago, receiving 51% of the votes. Re-elected in 1987, he suffered a fatal heart attack at his office 7 months later. April 12, 1861, the beginning of American Civil War. The American Civil War began as Confederate troops under the command of General Perry Brigade opened fire at 4:30 a.m. on Fort Sumter in Charleston, South Carolina. April 12, 1981, the first shuttle flight occurred. The first space shuttle flight occurred with the launch of Columbia with astronaut John Young and Robert Crippen aboard. Columbian spent 54 hours in space, making 36 orbits, then landed at Edward Air Force Base in California. April 15, 1817, the first school for deaf was founded. The first American school for the deaf was founded by Thomas H. Gallaudet and Lawrence Clark in Hartford, Connecticut. April 1862, slave trade is abolished. Congress abolished slavery in the District of Columbia and appropriated $1 million to compensate owners of freed slaves. April 15, 1912, Titanic goes down. In the icy waters off Newfoundland, the luxury liner Titanic with 2,224 persons on board sank at 2:27 a.m. after striking an iceberg just before midnight. Over 1,005 persons drowned, while 700 were rescued by the liner Carpathia, which arrived about 2 hours after Titanic went down. April 16, 1995, Pakistan boy killed for speaking against slavery. Iqbal Mashi, a young boy from Pakistan who spoke out against child labor, was shot to death. At age 4, he had been sold into servitude as a carpet weaver and spent the next 6 years shackled to a loom. At age 10, he escaped and began speaking out, attracting worldwide attention as a featured speaker during an international labor conference in Sweden. Queen Elizabeth gives Canada new set of laws. Queen Elizabeth II of England signed the Canada Constitution Act of 1982 Constitution, replacing the British North America Act of 1867, providing Canada with a new set of fundamental laws and civil rights. Michael Jordan plays last game. At age 40, Michael Jordan, widely regarded as the best player in the history of basketball, played his last game in the National Basketball Association. George Bush's wife dies at 92. American First Lady Barbara Bush, wife of George H.W. Bush, 41st President of the United States and mother of George W. Bush, 43rd President of the United States, died at the age of 92. Game of Thrones hits TV. That's the last one for today, so thanks for staying tuned. The hugely popular TV show Game of Thrones, which was based on the George R.R. Martin's fantastic book series, A Song of Ice and Fire, debuted on HBO. Okay, sorry, pardon me please. Richard I crowned a second time. Richard the Lionheart was crowned King of England for the second time after earlier surrendering his kingdom to the Holy Roman Emperor Henry VI. And on that royal note, we have come to the end of the show. I hope you guys have been following from the beginning. Thank you very much for staying so. And special shout out to the writer, to the content creator, Mr. Odu, and to the live streamer, Lekon and Co. God bless you all. Have a wonderful weekend.